Hi everybody, this is Connie from Connie's Creative Creations. Today I'm taking part in a collab and it's called Signs and Symbols that Remind Us of Our Faith. So I'll get back to that, a little bit more information in just a couple of minutes. So let's get right into this project. I only did one, but it's a pretty big one, so that's what we're going to do. So everything in this is from, almost everything is from the Dollar Tree. And so this is the cross wreath, the deco mesh in purple and white, the Chanel stems or pipe cleaners, however you want to call them, in white. Now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be cutting the deco mesh in about 8.5-inch pieces. And I just have my little cutter or my measuring tool that I use when I do quilting, so that I can see through it, and I'm going to cut it, and I'm fighting with that deco mesh, and then I turn it over and it makes it a lot easier. So I ended up going through 3 rolls each of the deco mesh. So that wasn't too bad. I thought I would go through 4, but I ended up going through 3. I think it was 3 each. So I'm doing a whole bunch of each color because I could not do them all at once. I wouldn't have room for them. So I would just do anywhere from 20 to 30 at a time. I got a great big pile, maybe not even that many. And then I would start making the little clumps. Now what I'm doing you'll see once I get this cut, is I grab the, I'm first cutting the pipe cleaners in half because I don't need the full length. That's too long. And then I just kind of scrunch it up. Like I use my little fingers and I just kind of scrunch it up, put it between my fingers, grab the white, do the same thing. Then I'm going to use the pipe cleaner and I'm going to twist it a couple of times to make this little purple and white poof. The reason I chose purple and white is because purple is power, like Jesus. White is Jesus' purity, and he hung on the cross to save us. So that's why I chose those colors. Once this is all on the cross, you will see what else I end up doing on this cross. And so my little fingers, I thought I would get tired of doing it because there was so many, but I didn't. I was quite surprised, but I look like I'm climbing up the little deco mesh. And I'm putting it just around the 2 center bars. I didn't need to put it on the outside because it ended up working perfectly just on the inside ones, and I make sure I do the same amount on each one. Now when you get down to the end of each section, it gets a lot harder, but you can see how full this is going to end up being. So I'm just going to continue working on that, and I'll be right back. Also, don't forget to go down in the description box. It will have Jackie's and Ray's channel links in there, as well as the playlist link, so that you can watch mine and their videos. I hope you guys enjoy these. Don't forget to leave comments. I love to read them, as well as just respond to them. So you don't forget to check that out. As you can see, it's getting nice and full. I'm doing the side pieces. I ended up doing 10 on each side to get that full enough. And I thought 8 would work, but it didn't. So I had to make some more. This wreaths to me is extremely easy to make. especially with Deco Mesh. And there's several ways you can use Deco Mesh. This is one of the easiest ways that I like. There's also when you don't cut it up that works as well. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and finish up this other side, and then I'm going to make the embellishment for this wreath. This is just a beautiful wreath. I love it. It is hanging already on my front door because I enjoy it so much. So here I am. I'm just finishing up the last ones on this last side of the wreath. And then I'm going to turn it over and tuck down all of the ends of the chenille stems so that I make sure that none of them is sticking out that's going to scratch my door. And these are soft and they just push down really super easy. I will be making a small jute loop at the top so that it will hang. All right, so this is the information. It's called Signs and Symbols that remind us of our faith. This is a collab with Jackie Burns Creations, myself, and Ray from OneWay Designs238. We have been planning this for several months, and we just love the whole idea, and that's why we went ahead and decided to do this. Okay, I kept trying to figure out exactly what I wanted to put on this. I finally came up with a little sign. So I am taking paint star sticks, using wood glue and then hot glue. I'm leaving bare wood parts so that it will connect together. Now, wood glue, if it's on bare wood to bare wood, it's the strongest that it can be. So, yeah, I love the way this turned out. So I ended up putting 3 together, and where those dips are, I made sure that they were on each end because I'm going to use those to put wire in between to hook this onto the wreath. So now I'm using some popsicle sticks with the wood to, to really adhere this and make it strong. Now I'm using my folk art white Adirondack chalk paint, and I'm just putting 1 coat over this. I'm not looking for a full coverage. You still will be able to see the wood through the paint. And once this is all done, I'm going to make sure I go around the edges. I didn't want the edges to look bare, so I did go around the edges with the white. And then I'm going to grab my antique wax from Waverly, and I'm going to distress this a little bit. Now, if you are new to my channel, welcome. I hope you decide to hit that subscribe button. It's free to you, but it helps my channel grow, and so that I can continue bringing content. And if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. I'm so glad you're here, and I hope you guys all enjoy this. So I'm getting this finished with the white around the edges of this. It's going to be a sign, and I've cut some wording out on my Cricut prior to doing this so that I didn't have to stop and now, as you can see, I'm doing the antique wax, and I'm just going around the edges, and then I'm going to accentuate the lines where the wood went together so that it looks like planks, and I'm just dry erasing this on there. Now I'm going to it's pretty dry. The antique wax dries fairly fast, so while I'm weeding my wording, that will finish up drying. So I'm just going to go ahead and weed it. Now I've decided to go ahead and do the wire first. So I'm cutting the wire, and I'm just putting it through those little hole slats, and I'm just going to twist it on the back because I didn't want to put it after the words. I wanted to make sure if any of the words was next to it, it would just go right over the top of it. So then I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to weed this with my weeding tool, and then we will transfer it. Now I use peel and stick as my transfer tape. For me, that's one of the easiest ones for me to use. And these letters are really quite thin, and so I had to be a little bit more careful with them. As you can see, they kept wanting to pull up the whole letter, so I just had to go slow and easy, and I was able to get them all up, and I didn't lose any letters or anything. So that was a big plus. And then I realized I had a big chunk at the end that wasn't unused, so I wanted to save that, because you can always use almost any piece of the vinyl on your yeah, with your Cricut. So I went ahead and I cut this. I did accidentally pull up the explanation mark, and so I had it on my finger while I pulled up the rest of that vinyl, and then I was able to lay it down with no problem at all. And the dot at the bottom, the period at the bottom, was still there, so I didn't have any issues with doing that at all. So I'm just weeding out, out of the S's and the E's and all those different letters that have little parts of the vinyl into them. And then I'm going to grab the peel and stick, and I just get it at Walmart, and it just works perfectly. So it's not contact paper, but it's close. It's just not quite as sticky. So, and this peels up pretty easy, just as long as I make sure I really burnish it really well. And then I'm able to put it down on this little sign. And then after I do that, I'm going to put Mod Podge over it. That will keep it, because this is going to be on my door. Now, I don't really get any sun on my front door, but I get fluctuations of heat and cold, so I didn't want it to peel off. So I ended up just putting Mod Podge over the top of it just to seal it. And I didn't put my outdoor. I could have, but because it's in between the storm door and the door, I didn't think it needed the outside, because I knew it wasn't going to get rain or hail or anything on it. So I'm just gonna put the Mod Podge on there. Okay, so now that is done. Doing the Mod Podge, and then once it dries, then I am going to hook it right onto this wreath. I'm going to put it right across there, and I'm just going to separate the deco mesh and put those two wires right down the center, right down there, and then I'm just going to go to the back and twist it, and it's completely secure on there. And then I'm going to put the jute hanger on, and this project is done. I hope you guys really like it. My faith means more to me than anything I can think of. My relationship with Jesus is the most important thing in my life, and then everything else comes next to that. My husband, my children, my grandchildren. I absolutely loved being able to do this. For me, this is one of my signs and symbols of my faith. Last year I did a huge cross, and then I did a wreath of wreaths, or a wreath of thorns with barbed wire, and I put that out last year, and I'll put it out next year or this year and every other year as well. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. I really like the way it turned out, and don't forget to call somebody today and tell them you love them. It might be exactly what they need to hear. Also, you guys all have the most blessed day and week. And don't forget to be the Bible that somebody reads today. Bye.